What's up YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of New Parents in Training. So today I'm going to talk about 5 things I like and 5 things I dislike from the Samsung Galaxy S20 that I bought. So I've been using it for quite some time and there are certain things I really thinking about this phone and something that just kind of bugs me. But today I'm going to go through that and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Alright, first thing first I want to talk about is the pricing. This is actually a like because when this phone first came out, it was retail for $999. So with tax involved, this thing is well over $1,000. This is $1,000 phone originally. But because of the Black Friday, Samsung is having a huge discount on all the phone lineup. Right now they're running $150 off, and then if you trade in your old phone, you get additional money off. I pay well under $600 for this phone. And currently Rakuten is having 15% cashback instead of the 10% I pay initially. I made a video of it. I'll link it on top so you can go check it out how you can take advantage of this deal. This phone retail for $999, but I got well under $600 with the tax and everything. So that makes it very attractive in terms of pricing compared to other phones such as OnePlus 8, the new Pixel 5. However, compared to those phones, those are really nice phones, don't get me wrong. But this one has better spec and now becomes cheaper than those newer phones. So yes, I definitely, this one is a like because just the value that you will get out of paying for it now compared to what it was before. Alright, so the second thing I want to talk about is the phone's design. This thing has a glass back. So when you hold on your phone, this has a complete premium feel to it. I particularly like the base model of the S20. Well, not the S20 FE, that's completely, to me, that's a completely different phone. Now, the reason why I really like the base model is because this one is the S8, this one is the S20. Now, to me, they both almost have the same size. I don't have to readjust how I normally use the phone itself. Because if I go to a S20 Plus or Ultra, those are much larger. But for this, I can get used to it really quickly. And also, just based on the feel itself, this is actually worth the price paying for because just have a really premium feel to it. So the third thing I really like about this phone is its battery system. Now, this thing can actually charge other phones and vice versa. This is actually pretty cool. So they provide you with a USB-C cable. This is actually both ends are USB-C. Now, what I end up noticing is if I plug in the USB-C port to my old phone and then to my new phone, it will use the battery from my old phone to charge the S20. Now, if the cable is already in the S20 and I plug into the S8, then the S8 will get charged from the S20 battery. So that's pretty unique. So if you go out and just so happen your friend's phone uses a USB-C and they are low on battery, you can recharge their phone. Now, another thing is because this be able to charge wirelessly, not only when you place onto the wireless charger, it will charge the phone, but at the same time, if you put a, let's say a Apple AirPod Pro on top of this phone will end up charging the headset itself as well. So this is what's so unique about this S20 lineup. So the next item I want to talk about is this phone's future-proof capability. For those of you who don't know, I actually use phone to videotape all our YouTube videos. For us, we don't have a standalone camera to do the video taping. We use the phones to do that. Now, my old phone is getting to a point that I need to replace because of the camera and the system itself is just not up to what I needed. But granted, that phone I've been using for 3 years now since it's S8. I got it when it first came out. To us, we use the phone for a very, very long time until we really need to replace it. So for me to jump ship into getting an S20, I have to really think about how much or how long I'll be using this phone. So this phone actually has the capability of recording 4K in 60 frames per second. Now that's huge. I don't think my S8 were able to do that. The S8, it could record in 4K, but I think it's in a much frame per second, maybe in the 24 to 30 range. But this one can record in 60 frames per second. Not only that, this one actually has the capability of recording in 8K. I know, right? 8K. I don't even have the computing power to edit 8K videos, but this phone could record in 8K. So down the road, I probably need to upgrade my computer in order to take advantage of the 8K capability on this phone. But needless to say, I think I could use this phone for the next 3 to 4 years if all goes well. So to me, the price I pay for this phone and the longevity I can have and utilizing this phone, this definitely hands down a really good value for the price you pay for a phone. Alright, so the last I want to talk about is the screen itself. By far one of the best one I have seen. And one of the key feature for this one is the motion smoothness. It's just the amount of screen refreshing rate that it has. So the standard phone will have about 60 hertz of refreshing rate, but for this one, you can set it to 120. Now initially, I wasn't too sure about the 120 because it doesn't really show from video clips I have seen on YouTube, but once I got it, I messed around with it. It's actually very smooth. Like you will see a very smooth transition when you scroll up and down. And also this will be a great feature to have when you're playing games. The higher the refreshing rate, the more smooth the picture or the gameplay will be. There will not be any lags, so to speak. Also, another thing about this, the screen resolution is 3200 by 1440. Now granted, if you want to up to the 120 hertz, you have to lower it to 2400 by 1080. So yeah, during the higher refresh rate, you have to lower the screen resolution, but this phone does have much higher screen resolution if you want to just use the regular 60 hertz. During the 60 hertz, you will use less battery, so it's really up to you. But I really liking the 120 hertz feature, and so far I have no issue with in terms of the battery usage. The phone battery still lasts me for the whole day. Now granted, I don't do much of gaming or too much video watching on the phone itself, but that's just me. Alright, so let's talk about the dislikes. Now, the very first one, this phone has a hole puncher front camera on top of the screen itself. It's in the middle of it, you can't miss it, it's black. So when you are watching video, such as YouTube, sometimes you might not even want to use the whole full screen feature because just the fact that this camera will be on there, and it will be quite noticeable. Now, you could zoom in and zoom out on YouTube, because this phone has the hole puncher camera in the front. To me, it's kind of nuisance because once you know it's there, you always see it. Because on my old phone, the screen doesn't go all the way top, so that way the front-facing camera will not be shown on the screen. Now, the second dislike I want to talk about this phone is still its camera. Not that the camera itself is bad, but just how the camera is being designed. Now, because it has 3 cameras in the back, this thing is sticking out like a sore thumb. So this makes the back not smooth, not flat. So when you place onto a table, it rocks. So it's not flat on the surface. That's kind of annoying, especially if you go somewhere and you have to place it down or in a meeting, and if the phone wobbles, then it's very noticeable. Now, to remedy that, I had to purchase a phone case. The one I got is from Moment. Moment, the one that make camera lenses. Yeah, they also provide a phone cover for the S20. Now this will make the rocking a little bit less, especially the cover is rubber, so it doesn't really make that much noise. The reason why I wanted to get the Moment cover is because I have a Moment lens. So this way I can attach the lens onto the rear facing camera as well. The only way you can remedy the rocking is to have a phone case. So the next thing I would want to talk about is the phone does not have a headphone jack. Now, because of that, it makes recording much harder because recording I always use external mic. That external mic needs to plug into a headphone jack. I have a adapter that I can attach to it. Yeah, it's making things a little bit inconvenient, and also just a lot of accessory need to be carried out too. So the next dislike about this phone is it doesn't play well with Google stuff for some reason. Gmail on this phone, when you first install the app or transfer the app over, you have to go in and manually readjust some of the setting in order for the mail to get pushed through. I've never had to do that before with any other phones. So that struck me as kind of odd. And next thing is the YouTube. For those of you who use YouTube a lot, then you would notice that there's an autoplay function. On my old phone, the button is right on the app itself. So if I don't want the app to do autoplay, all I have to do is just click on the button and that was it. Now, not for this. For some reason, it's hidden inside the YouTube app. So I have to go into the setting to look for that function and then to turn it off. Otherwise, once whatever video you are done, then it's starting the next one, which is gonna eat up your data service. So yeah, I found that kind of interesting. Now that's just the two I have found that I have to manually go in to do some readjusting. I'm not quite sure if there are any other ones that's out there that I need to manually go in to adjust. I never had to face that before, so I found that kind of annoying. Alright, so the last one I want to talk about that not liking is the phone comes with a lot of bloatware. All those Samsung apps, they are in there. Because a lot of them I don't need. Like, why would I need a Galaxy store when I already have a Google store, right? And there are like a bunch of Samsung ware that's on there that I cannot get rid of. I know that Samsung wanted to push their product to all consumers, but at the same time, it's just kind of frustrating that there's just stuff on there I don't need and I cannot get rid of. But anyway, aside from that, I think the benefit outweighs the negative stuff. So those are my 5 likes and dislikes. Comment down below if you have any questions. Until then, bye.